3, 2, 1.
You are listening to the DBAD movement. This is the Don't Be a Dickhead podcast. I'm John Gilbert.
I'm Ian Thompson.
I'm Alex King.
And today we are going to be talking about the environment. Big topic, this one, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's
Quite a
always been
serious
coming.
topic.
Yeah. I feel like at one extreme we're just like talking about people using the incorrect word in a sentence. And now we're talking about the destruction of our entire planet.
It's all got to be handled by the DBAD podcast, otherwise no one's going to do anything about it.
Yeah, we've had all of the scientists. I don't know what we've had all of the scientists on the phone saying, "What do we do? We've tried so much. It's just not working. We're just not listening." Because it's like the environment and the destruction of the planet is like the biggest of the elephants in the room.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but I've had these like existential crisis moments where I think about all the things I do in my life that I feel are terribly important to me. And I feel like I try and do my bit more than just doing this podcast around like social change. But then I think, well, one day there won't be a planet if we're not careful. So none of this will ever matter. And we've killed all the animals, and the human race is just like a few disparate people living in some dystopian nightmare.
Out of
Did
interest,
it really matter that I helped them stop smoking?
what are some of the things that are incredibly important to you that you think about?
In life?
But beyond the environment?
No, you said that often you think about all these things that are very important to you, and then you think actually those things don't matter. So I'm just out of interest, what are some of the incredibly important things?
Well, maybe not incredibly important, but you know, like when you think about how, like the stuff we've discussed, am I being a good neighbour? Am I looking after my health? Am I making the best use of my time on this planet?
Oh, right, okay. I thought you meant like going to cinema or something like that.
What do you mean?
I just thought like you meant like when you were thinking about things that are important to you. I thought you meant like things like going to the
Like the
cinema.
things
or...
that we do that maybe, does it really matter? Because it's not going to be here soon anyway.
Well, they all
That's
matter,
very deep.
and if we do them all, then maybe the planet will be here.
So somebody said to me once, when I was having this kind of moment of doubt, they said, well, look, you can only do what you can do. And what you're trying to do is better behaviour. And every time we do better behaviour, then that is going to have more of an impact on what it means to be a good human. Therefore, when we tackle the environmental issue, which is such a big issue, we're better prepared for it. So maybe all the scientists contacting the DBAD podcast is the right way around. We're just trying to get there gradually, one step at a time, before we tackle this big one.
Yeah, exactly. We're just trying to help out the scientists.
Yeah.
So when we say we're just trying to make the world a better place through reduced dickheadery, that is the stepping stone to saving the world.
Yeah, we're not just making it a better place; we're making it exist. And I think just like God originally made it exist, the DBAD, the Church of DBAD that I've always been trying to start up, is going to keep it existing, and that's why people should sign up to a monthly PayPal donation to DBAD, straight into account name Ian Thompson, and we'll be fine.
Thou shalt not dickhead.
Yeah, Ian Thompson the highest or something. I don't know.
So why do you think we not just DBAD, but the world, why do you think we don't do more to like be more environmentally conscious and try and save the world? Is it simply that it's just too big?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. It seems like it's too big because we're dickheads and it's too much hard work.
I think a lot of people don't actually believe that it's a thing either, which is slightly concerning. It's like the leader of the most powerful country in the world doesn't believe it's a thing. So all of his followers are going to also...
What, the leader of China?
No, of America. America are the most powerful country in the world.
I knew what you meant.
Are they? Are they not?
Yeah, I knew what you meant. Yeah, carry on.
I was being facetious.
Okay.
Which, facetious, incidentally, is one of only two words in the English language with all the vowels in the correct order. A-E-I-O-U, facetious. And there's only one other word in the English language that has all the vowels in the correct order.
What's that one?
Abstemious.
Ooh.
Never heard of that.
I don't even know what that means.
I've never heard that
I can't
word.
remember what it means.
Okay.
Right.
Hashtag abstemious. So you were saying, Alex?
Yeah, I just think a lot of people are just a bit ignorant to it. And I think if you think, oh, me recycling this bit of plastic is not going to make a difference, which it can do, but I just feel like a lot of people probably have that attitude. If they think, well, no one else is doing anything about it. But
Yeah.
Well, there's your genuine climate change deniers who do believe that. And I know somebody, I mean, she has a PhD and she's worked in science her whole life. She just doesn't believe it exists. She just says, oh, it's all just normal, and just carries on with her day. So
I think a lot of people
she genuinely
do.
believes that. That's almost not dickheadery. That's her view. I mean, I'm not a scientist, but I do believe what the scientists tell me. Then there's the people who don't care. And then there's the people who just think, you know what, the world should have figured it out for itself. I'm going to do what? Who are proactively selfish about it. They're the dickheads.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with you there. I mean, I don't know how well you know your PhD friend, but like all the scientists that believe it is true, I'm presuming hasn't got a better insight than all of them put together. So I'm afraid,
the scientists.
I'm afraid I'm calling her out as a dickhead. I think what we've touched on here is that we've got several things. I think we've got people like Bolsonaro, the president or whatever of Brazil, who's beyond dickheadery. He's just a hateful, like, evil turd. Then you've got people like Trump, who I don't know whether he is a climate change denier or not. I think he's just playing up to his base, who are dickheads. And because he's doing that, then that makes him king massive.
No,
dickhead.
I think he is the. Yeah, I think that is what he is. I genuinely
I think
do.
he doesn't really care whether it's true or not. He doesn't have a brain in his head to be able to let him decide whether it's true or not. So he just decides, what would my base want me to say? What would like a gun-toting hillbilly in Kentucky with 3 teeth want me to say? He'd want me to say, like, oh yeah, it doesn't exist, so let's all just carry on doing what we're doing. And that makes him a massive dickhead, because like we said, a dickhead is often someone who knows what they're doing but still does it anyway. I don't know whether Trump knows what he's doing, because I don't think he's clever enough, but he is a massive dickhead, and also a massive dick.
He's both of those things.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've been thinking about taking just a section of the show to use as an advert. That might be it. We'll just tweet it at Donald Trump.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be great if he responded to us.
Well, it would be good to get some publicity from it. And one of the things we were going to talk about was what Trump does with Twitter. Basically, his attacks on, like, Greta Thunberg.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was going to sound really naive here, because Trump isn't the only person who doesn't like Greta Thunberg. What's going on there? You've got, I think she's still 16, she might be 17, but you've got a young girl who has made big upheavals in her life and really kind of put her neck on the block to come out and say, look, speaking to the leaders of the world, we need to do something about this because the old models of leadership are not working. We have this environmental problem and we've just got to try something different. But don't look at us, the kids, to fix it. You have got to do it. And if you watch her speeches, she's a fantastic speaker. It's very difficult for me to disagree with anything she's saying. But yeah, people just seem to really have a problem with her.
I've experienced a lot of people, especially like, I don't want to like sort of stereotype it, but grown men seem to really dislike her. And I've heard people talking about it. And I just don't understand it. Even if you don't agree with her sort of opinions and what she's trying to do, which I don't understand why you wouldn't, why would you verbally attack essentially a child that's trying to sort of better the world? I think it's because people don't like the thought of being told, especially maybe by someone that is younger, or a child, and I don't understand it.
And a girl.
Yeah. And I think it's awful. I've heard it a lot, and I've seen it a lot on social media, and it's just, I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it, that all these middle-class, upper-class, white, right-wing men find it necessary to attack an autistic 16-year-old girl.
But I don't think it's because she's autistic, but they're using things like that to kind of explain it. Oh, well, she's obviously got a different view of the world that can't be correct. It's a part of this ongoing saga that sometimes just makes me embarrassed to be a middle-aged white man. Because, yet again, what we've done is we're spitting our dummy out because we've been proven to be wrong about something. We don't like where it's coming from, as you were saying, Alex. We're picking holes in it, as you say, Ian, and it's just like... And I've just used the word we, because I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I just think that social media has given a voice to so many dickheads, who have found the Church of Dickhead in the wrong sense. We're the Church of Don't Be a Dickhead, but we've got it's God and Satan here. It's a biblical battle going on between the Church of Dickhead and the Church of DBAD.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the real global struggle, never mind the environment.
Yeah. And when you say we, I mean, I do take issue with you saying we a little bit, because I have no problem with Greta Thunberg. Until the day when she says sex in the city instead of sex and the city, I have absolutely no problem with her.
She says the Pacific issue is this.
Yeah. At which point I'll be following Trump on Twitter.
I think there's another thing that, Greta Thunberg's not the only person speaking up for the environment, but we hear things that we don't want to hear, and that makes us uncomfortable. It's a bit like when, you've been doing something for a while and then somebody starts showing you that there was a better way of doing it. You can go one of two ways. You can be like, oh my gosh, yes, that's very helpful, thank you. Or you're just going to denial, and you're just like, well, I'm going to do it my way, like it or lump it. I'm very much like that. I play squash, and when a good squash player sees me play, they go, oh, I notice you do this, but it'd be much better if you do that. And I'm just like, nah, don't want to hear it, mate. I've been doing it like this for years. That'll do me. Now, that's all right doing that for a game of squash, but when it comes to the destruction of the planet, we probably need to be a little bit more mature about it.
Yeah, squash and the destruction of the planet are very similar.
Well, I tell you what, neither of them are happening particularly quickly at the moment. We're not allowed to play squash, and one of the unintended benefits of the COVID-19 lockdown is actually less pollutants for a while. Yeah. Although I dare say that there's going to be other problems with that, which actually links into one of the pieces of psychology around the environmental issue, which is when we do something good, we then go and do something bad. So I recycle and do lots of positive things, but then I'll then go on 3 unnecessary flights every year, and therefore my carbon footprint from that is far worse than any of the good that I achieved within the home. And you see it with people who drive environmentally sound cars, so then they do more driving because they can, and actually there's no good has been created at all.
No. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Carbon offsetting's weird because does it just leave things stood still? You know what I mean? It doesn't help at all. It just leaves stood still. So you can pay when you get your flight to carbon offset your flight. So it's like, all right, so I'm going to pollute a load, but then I'll do something that offsets that polluting. So we're just back to where we are at the moment, where in actual fact you'd be better off paying to offset a flight that you've not taken. Oh, that's what I should have done. I was supposed to go to San Diego with work in March, and I didn't. It got cancelled in the end, so I didn't go. I didn't take my flight. I don't know whether I did, but I don't think I did. Pay to carbon offset. I don't have the money to be environmentally friendly, so I don't think I did pay to carbon offset. But if I had have paid to carbon offset and not took my flight, then I'd have been one up on the environment there.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have celebrated that by just...
Ian Thompson won the environment 0.
Yeah.
Or the other way around, maybe. I don't know.
You could just hire like a Mustang and just drive around and around and around for a few weeks now.
Well, I mean, as you two both know, I haven't owned a car in about 5 or 6 years now, so I'm incredibly...
you just use everyone else's.
Environmental. All right. We don't need that sort of talk on this podcast.
And the ones you do hire are real guzzlers. So the DBAD community have been in touch, and Sally Gill, no relation, well, she is a relation to my wife, says, recycling, why wouldn't you recycle? I occasionally speak to people who don't. A, why wouldn't you? And B, how on earth do you fit everything in your bin if you don't separate and recycle?
I wonder why these people do. What reasons do people give for not doing it? Is it like that? Well, unless everyone does it, there's no point. Is that the?
I reckon that's a lot to do with it, and also maybe it's a can't be bothered thing. Yeah. I've always been like my mum's quite strict with recycling, so I've always been like told, like it's been drilled into me to always do it. But maybe people that have been brought up not doing it, they might not think it's. I don't know. I think it's. It can be. I reckon a lot of it is just thinking, well, me recycling this bottle is not going to make any difference to the bigger picture, which I think is what the problem is. Yeah. They
need to watch the movie Happy Feet 2 with Brad Pitt as the krill. And he's like that, and it's like, we can't make a difference. But then when they all do rally together, they break the ice and save the penguins.
There we go. Our recycle bins here where we live are blue. And you always get the recycle people looking through the blue bins. And if you've got anything there that isn't recyclable in this area, then they refuse to take it. Why don't they ever look through the non-recyclable bins? In our area, they're black. Why don't they ever look through the black bins and say, like, no, you've got some recycling in there, mate, I'm not taking it?
Oh, that's a really good point.
I believe they're starting to do that.
Oh, good.
And not to turn this into a meeting rather than a podcast, but that excellent campaign that we developed around recycling that never saw the light of day was because they're changing the focus to the thing that you've just suggested.
Right.
Oh, good. Okay.
So in a roundabout way, you're a pioneer for a different reason.
Thank you
than
very
for our
much.
excellent campaign that never saw the light of day.
Okay, well, that added to my non-San Diego flight. You're welcome, world.
See? DBAD.
What would we do
Church
without
of
Ian
DBAD.
Thompson?
I don't know.
I just
don't know. Yeah. And I understand, Ian, that you've been looking into some ideas that people have come up with that might save the world.
I found an article online which was 5 crazy ideas that might just save the planet. It was in Reader's Digest. And some of them are quite weird. So the first one is from an astronomer, Roger Angel. Good name for this. He wants to build a 10,000 square mile solar sunshade made out of 16 trillion glass discs between the planet and the sun, which he reckons will reduce the sun's harmful warming effect by 2%. He wants to build some sunglasses for the Earth.
Wow. How many? Do you say trillion?
How do you keep it in place? 16 trillion glass discs.
How would they manufacture those? Wouldn't that just contribute to the problem in the first place?
That is an excellent point. I don't know.
That's why all the scientists come to us, Alex.
But probably, Alex, yeah. Yeah.
Between the two of you, you've really helped save the planet.
I mean, why aren't me and Alex being consulted? Okay, the second one. Wrap Greenland in a blanket. So Professor Jason Box of the Geological Survey of Denmark and Greenland had the unique idea to wrap 10,000 square metres of Greenland, as in the country Greenland, the island, including coastline and glaciers, in a giant polypropylene blanket that would reflect sunlight and block out eroding winds. So there we go. So he wants to wrap Greenland in a blanket. I don't know what everyone who lives in Greenland is doing, I've got to say. I know there's not loads of them, but there's a fair few, yeah. Unless they just get wrapped in a blanket and they're told, like, we're just going to have to hibernate for a while, guys, until we sort this problem out. Other ones include feeding pollution to algae. I don't quite know how this one works.
I'm quite excited about that one because that seems to me, based on all my extensive scientific knowledge, seems to be the answer. I've mentioned on the podcast before my eyesore of a fountain that we have on my front garden, and the algae that just grows in there so rapidly, it's incredible. And if that can eat the pollution, and if it can take in some of the carbon dioxide, then that could be it. That's the extent of my scientific knowledge. Okay. Anybody listening to this who really knows about this stuff will go, no, dickhead, it doesn't work like that.
I'm not entirely sure it eats the pollution. I think what it does is it gets rid of air pollution that comes in, so it eats the carbon dioxide, I believe. It absorbs the carbon dioxide gas.
That's what I meant to say.
Okay. Well, that's a good idea then. So that one's a good idea. This next one, see what you think. Float New York on the water.
What benefit would that have?
Well, I suppose, this is a good call actually. So it can theoretically accommodate 50,000 people. So that idea is
New York.
Yeah, that idea is completely out for New York, New Orleans or Houston then. Float on the ocean off coasts of low-lying cities and are designed to use solar, wind, thermal and tidal energies to create electricity. So that's how it'd help. Okay. But I suppose moreover, it just means that when those cities go underwater, then they're all right because they can float. So it doesn't really help that much aside from, I suppose, that other thing. But yeah, it's a weird idea. That's not going to happen, is it?
So we've heard a lot from all the scientists, but what about the people that all the scientists turn to? Like the DBAD podcast crew. Yeah. So Ian, what could we do to improve the environment?
Oh Christ! I haven't got. Do you know what? One thing that we could do. I'm looking down my list of things that I've written down about what I think is a bit dickhead behaviour. People putting food in recycling. Stop putting food in recycling. rinse out your tins. Just rinse out your tins.
Yeah, agreed.
That's my slogan. I hate
Rinse
it
out
when
your
you look in the
tins.
you look in the recycling and I don't know, maybe you because I put my recycling in a plastic bag and then I have to go and I decant the plastic bag into the blue bin. Let's say I'm just sort of taking things out of the plastic bag. I tend not to do it all at once. I tend to tip it, but sometimes I might do it one at a time. And I put my hand in some baked beans because someone's not rinsed out the baked bean tin. That's not on.
That's not on.
Because not only is it hurting the environment, it's a bit icky for me as well.
You see, now I'm behind you on that message, but as somebody who shares an office with you both and other colleagues, when I brought up people not recycling properly, all you did was parody me.
This is one of John's big bugbears. For anyone who hasn't worked with him, which is probably
most of the planet.
Then yeah, he does the recycle bin. He gets very angry, but he gets up to the verge of violence about the recycle bin.
But nothing I'm saying is untrue, is
It's
it?
No,
it's not.
Perfectly fine.
It just shows an absolute lack of just care. It's dickheadery.
If we keep him going on this, he might fire someone live on air.
You can't do it to me either, because that'd be not very nice. I can see you feel more guilty if it's me.
It'll be funnier doing it to someone who you're not looking at.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you what
I
else
shouldn't
is
need
annoying
to.
as well? Sorry, what else is annoying as well is Amazon. Not the Amazon. I like the Amazon. Never been. I don't want to pollute by flying over there. But Amazon sending tiny little, you buy yourself some nail scissors or something like that. And why did I pick nail scissors? Oh, Jesus. Anyway, you buy yourself something like nail scissors and they send
What are nail scissors?
And they're like scissors for your nails as opposed
There's
to nail
tiny
clippers.
little ones that
Tiny little scissors, yeah.
What, so you can be more accurate?
Yeah, more
Okay.
dainty.
Can I borrow yours sometime?
Yeah, sure, yeah. They send you it in the same box that you might receive a sofa in or something. It's just insane the amount of packaging they put on it. I know it's all cardboard, so it's all recyclable and everything like that, but it's an insane amount of packaging they put on.
Yes. I don't think Amazon have necessarily got saving the environment very high up their list.
No.
I know they've had some innovations in packaging, but yeah, it's a way of making loads of money, but not necessarily the bastion of good corporate social responsibility. I remember learning about the problem with the greenhouse effect and methane that was created from cows farting.
Yeah.
And actually that did create quite a significant amount. Now, you've recently gone vegetarian, Alex, so you're reducing that.
Yeah.
You're another part of the hero movement. I'm still eating meat, but then I do recycle, so it's okay. So I think that's one of those points about justification there.
Did a disco just drive past someone's house?
What's going on?
I don't know if that's my mum's partner's son. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Was it him singing with his live R&B band, or was it just him playing music?
I think he was singing.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
brilliant. Well, it was very good. Congratulate him and tell him he's now been on a Christian rock show.
Yeah. So the problem with the cows and the methane, how can we stop them farting? Because I did think about this as a child. I think I was quite naively thinking you would just put some kind of butt plug up a cow.
Wow.
And that would reduce it, but it needs to go somewhere. So I've been thinking about this, and on a mass scale, you know that movie Human Centipede?
Okay.
Would it be inhumane for us to do that to all the cows?
Oh God, I don't know whether we've hit a new low.
Well, then it would surely still be the same amount of methane. It'd just be coming. It'd be travelling down.
Also, it would be very cruel, Alex, which is where I thought you might go first off.
Yeah,
If it needs me to point that out, guys.
Yeah, I think that was I think we all know.
All the scientists listening, don't use that one. It's horrendous.
You know when people say well, I'm stopping eating meat so it helps the environment and things because not as many cows fart. Surely there'll just be more cows out there because not enough of them are being eaten, or does it just mean that they'll make fewer cows?
Yeah, they'll
Well,
make
the
fewer
less
cows.
demand for it, they wouldn't need to produce as many, would they?
Cool.
Ian.
We don't want to make cows extinct, though, do we? I like cows.
No, I love cows.
I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue with all of the beef consumption is that we're destroying the rainforest so that it can we can rear all that cattle, and then when you have them, they. Well, actually, as I understand it, having listened to Sapiens recently, if you are going to eat meat, eating beef is one of the good ones to go for, because the cows, relatively speaking, other than the fact that they take the babies away from them, have a pretty good life in comparison to like battery hens and things like that.
Yeah,
and if you kill one cow, that can feed a lot of people, whereas smaller animals, like a chicken, something like that, just doesn't go that far.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's a topic for another podcast, I reckon.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So, have we answered the call of the scientists? Have we fixed the environment? I guess when we come back to dickheadery behaviour, just all the little things that we can do. You made a point earlier on, Ian, and you said it as a joke about, I can't afford to be environmentally friendly. That should not be a barrier. There are things that we can do when it comes to looking at how we use our transport. Not having a car is a good step in the right direction that you've got there.
Thanks
I
very
also
much.
have a car and I don't use it, so that makes me a champion of the environment too. And I'm not going to have a car soon because there's no point in me getting a new car because I can't go. No, not going anywhere. Anyway, so it's just looking at our own kind of behaviours. And I come back to that thing I said right at the beginning of the show about sometimes it can be demoralising to think, well, am I actually making a difference when I'm not doing anything of the big picture of the environment? Well, what we have to be doing is be socially conscious, and then that becomes part of the culture. People like Greta Thunberg don't become a parody for fun; they become the voice of reason that we all need, and people like Trump can fuck off, and let's get this environment back on track. Did that do it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and do you know what's really nice about that is it feels like it's the end of the podcast, and the take home is Trump can fuck off. That works perfectly for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
End it there.
So all the scientists and Donald Trump, if you're listening, remember,
Don't
don't
be
be
a
a
Don't be a
dickhead.